Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on PIB monthly compilation and I'll be discussing PIB for the month of February. PIB is something which is very important for civil services examination. Either it is prelims or mains, it contribute a lot to your examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. So how we are going to discuss the entire session, I've segregated the news and relevant topics paper wise. So first we'll be looking into the important news that was relevant for General Studies paper 2, followed by General Studies paper 3, some foreign policies news, and again the short liner that would be more relevant for the prelims examination. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. So starting the session with the first, that is paper 2, General Studies paper 2 में जो भी relevant news रहे हैं पूरे February month में, उसके कुछ important news मैं आपके साथ discuss करूँगा. So the first is National Rail Plan 2030, something very relevant with your examination. Mains में भी directly इस पे question पूछे जा सकते हैं. So Indian Railway have prepared a National Rail Plan. This is for 2030 vision. And the plan is to create a future-ready railway system by 2030. So this is a not very long term, immediately also मीडियम टर्म आप बोल सकते हैं जिसको एग्जीक्यूशंस के लिए गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने प्लान किया हुआ है एंड इवन दिस इज समथिंग विच इज गोइंग टू बी द गेम चेंजर फॉर इंडियन रेलवेज. What is the aim and objective? The first, that the National Rail Plan is aimed to formulate strategy जो कि बेस्ड होगी ऑपरेशनल कैपेसिटी के साथ साथ कमर्शियल पॉलिसीज पे भी, बिकॉज कमर्शियल पॉलिसीज फॉर रेलवे इज समथिंग विच इज also a sort of revenue generation which is more of the profit in nature, right? So this initiative aims to increase the modal share of railway freight to 45%. Now उसको दूसरे objectives की बात करें, this plan to have a create capacity ahead of demand and in turn would have to cater the growth of demand by 2050. So by this 2030 vision, we are also targeting for 2050 and increase the modal share of railway by 45% in freight traffic that continue to sustain for a longer duration of time. और किसी objectives की बात करें, to achieve all possible financial model including the public-private partnership that are being considered. We already have some freight collaborations with some private players, but यहाँ पे उनकी collaborations को increase की जाएगी so that it can bring more investment and more state of art technology into the railway. Basically अगर बात करें freight corridors की या फिर overall passenger trains में भी, तो वहाँ पे भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा beneficial हो सकती है. The focus area of the National Rail Mission for 2030. First, it aims to formulate an operational capacity with the commercial policy, जो मैंने आपको बताया 45% तक freight corridor की बात की गई है. It aims to reduce the time of freight substantially by increasing the average speed of train, that is 50 km per hour, right? So this is something which you have to note, 50 km per hour. Now identify new dedicated freight corridor. Again, something very important. Those area which is not connected would be the part of the new connection. Identify new high-speed rail corridor. Government has already proposed about the rail corridor, which they will be soon implementing in many other cities. Now, excess roll stock requirement for passenger traffic as well as wagon requirement for the freight. फिर locomotive requirement की अगर बात करें, excess locomotive requirement to meet twin situation with 100% electrification, because हमारी जो कमिटमेंट है कोप 26 की और भी जो ग्लोबल फोरम में वेयर इंडिया इज लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड विद द क्लीन एंड ग्रीन एनर्जी, उसके तरफ एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप्स होंगे. Now assess the total investment in capital that would require along with the periodically breakup. The other news is New India Literacy Program. So the government has recently approved the new scheme for New India Literacy Program for a period of financial year 2022 till 2027. And this will cover all important aspects of adult educations जो अलाइन की जाएगी नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020 जो हमारी नई आई है एजुकेशन पॉलिसी उसके साथ, और जो बजट अनाउंसमेंट थी उसको दोनों को इंटीग्रेट करके जो टारगेट्स है उसको अचीव करने की कोशिश की जाएगी. Even the National Education Policy 2022 has recommended adult education and lifelong learning. Elementaries education पर भी काफ़ी जोर दी गई है, बट वैसे लोग जिन्होंने स्कूलिंग छोड़ दी है वो अपने स्कूलिंग को भी कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं, उनको कोई एज बैरियर नहीं है. दिस इज ऑल्सो नोन एज अ लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्निंग. Now, what is more relevant in this scheme that you must know? So, a scheme would be implemented through the volunteerism in online mode, जो ट्रेनिंग ओरिएंटेशंस वर्कशॉप है वो वॉलंटियर के लिए की जाएगी एंड दैट वुड बी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड थ्रू फेस टू फेस मोड. And all material and sources shall be provided digitally for easy access to register volunteer. That would be accessible via digital mode, चाहे वो टीवी हो, रेडियो हो, सेल फोन्स हो, एंड ऑल अदर मीन्स लाइक सोशल मीडिया एप्स हैं, बहुत सारे यूट्यूब्स पे भी अलग अलग प्लेटफॉर्म है. तो कोई भी ऐसी प्लेटफॉर्म जो सोशली कनेक्ट करती है लोगों को, उस प्लेटफॉर्म पे भी मौका दिया जाएगा. Now, the scheme will cover non-literates as well as age of 15, and overall it will be implemented for all states and union territories. Some important salient feature of the scheme. First is foundational literacy, which government has focuses upon. Literacy और numeracy की बात की गई है उसके skills को develop करने के लिए. सो नॉन लिटरेट्स के लिए एज 15 रखी गई. वैसे गवर्नमेंट ने नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसीज के थ्रू ये भी कहा है कि वैसे बच्चे जो कि 5 to 7 ईयर्स में हों उनको भी उसके स्टैंडर्ड थर्ड तक आते आते ना, स्टैंडर्ड फर्स्ट से थर्ड तक आते आते उनको फाउंडेशनल और लिटरेसी न्यूमरेसी की जानकारी होनी चाहिए. Use of technology would definitely impact the adult education in the wider coverage of the scheme. Now, if you look into the performance grading index, which is an integral part of the scheme, for state and union territory as well as district level, they will show the performance of the state and union territories to implement the scheme. किस तरह से वो scheme की implementations हुई हैं, physical और financial progress कितनी है, ये सारी चीजें जो UDISC की portals होंगी उन पे भी upload की जाएगी. Now, Interoperable Crime Justice System. The Government of India has approved the implementation of Interoperable Crime Justice System projected by the Ministry of Home Affairs. जो total cost है इसकी 3,375 crore rupees है, and the time duration is for 2022 till 2026. Right? This number might not be important for you, but एक figure आपको पता होना चाहिए कि कितनी allocations की गई है. Under the guidance of Union Home Minister, phase 2 जो है ICJS project की implement की जाएगी, and this would ensure the effective and modern policing in our country. The project would be implemented via center sector scheme. Now, something more about the project. ये जो ICJS system है that would be made available through a dedicated and secure cloud-based infrastructure and high-speed connectivity, which is essentially required. Now, the National Crime Record Bureau will be responsible for the implementation of the project in association with the National Informatics Centers, जो Government of India की एक इकलौती सेंटर्स हैं जो सारे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ों को मिलके सिक्योर करती है. इंफॉर्मेशन से रिलेटेड जितनी चीज़ें CDAC के साथ भी मिलके काम करते हैं, राइट. सो CDAC इज अनदर एसोसिएशन विच इज अ गवर्नमेंट एंटिटी विच इज लुकिंग फॉर ऑल दिस implementation part in terms of IT. The project would be implemented in collaborations with the state and union territories. Now, some background की अगर बात करें, जो Interoperable Crime Justice System है is a national platform for enabling integrations of main IT system used for the delivery of crime justice system in our country by 5 important pillars. इसकी जो implementations है crime and criminal tracking networking systems के through काम की जाती है. The first is e-forensic and forensic labs, e-courts for courts, e-prosecutions for public prosecutors, or e-prison for prisoners. So this is how the upgrade of technology in terms of crime and criminal tracking networking system has been developed to utilize more of IT into the system. Now, modernization of police forces, something which is essentially required at this point of time. This is inevitable to be done by the government. Now, the government has proposed the continuations of umbrella scheme, that is the modernization of police forces. Approval दी गई है for the duration till 2021 to 2026. And this is a forward initiative that will modernize and improve the functioning of the police forces both in the state as well as in the union territories. This scheme comprises all relevant sub-schemes that contribute to modernization and improvement with a total financial outlay of 26,275 crore rupees. Now, what is the aim of this scheme? How this modernization scheme is going to help? So first is to improve the quality of forensic, policing and weapons. By weapons, I mean the arms and ammunition which is being provided to the police forces has to be modernized. अभी recent में जिस तरह से इंडिया और रशिया के बीच में collaborations हुई हैं for AK-47, this is mostly for the paramilitary forces, but state में भी जो forces weapons use करते हैं उसको भी upgrade करने की ज़रूरत है, right? And this will call for the continuations of mega police modernizations, and the total outlay is 26,275 crore rupees. This includes some of the important areas like Jammu and Kashmir, northeastern states, Maoist affected areas, and raising the high-tech forensic laboratories and other investigations too. Some salient feature of the police modernization scheme. So there has a provision under the scheme जहाँ पे internal security, law order, adaptations of technology for police, assessing the state for narcotics, and strengthening the criminal justice system has to develop in a robust manner. Now, to develop the operational independent high quality forensic sciences, जो state or union territories है that has to aid the scientific and timely investigations through the modernization of resources. Now, with the implementations of National Police and Action Plan for combating left wing extremists, जो LWE violence है उनको भी लेकर के गवर्नमेंट ने खासा ध्यान दिया हुआ है. For raising Indian Reserve Battalion, that is specialized Indian Reserve Battalion, उसके लिए जो security outlays central government ने दी हैं, that is 350 crore rupees. So these are some of the important and salient feature with regards to the police modernization in our country. Now, Smile scheme, something very important for transgender as well as for the girls. Now, the Union Ministry for Social Justice has come up for recently scheme, that is the Center Sector Scheme Smile, that is support for the marginalized individual for livelihood and enterprises, right? This was launched actually in 12th of February 2022. एक umbrella scheme है ministry के अंदर, Department of Social Justice and Empowerment, that is designated to provide welfare measures to transgender community and people engaged in the act of begging. Now, what is more about the scheme? The scheme include two subsection. पहला है सेंटर सेक्टर स्कीम, उसके बाद comprehensive rehabilitations of welfare of transgender person would be included, right? तो ये जो सेंटर सेक्टर स्कीम है comprehensive rehabilitation बिल्ड करेगी, जहाँ पे act of begging को भी reduce करने की बात की गई है, खत्म करने की बात की गई है. The scheme strengthen and expand the right that will give the targeted group a legal protections, जहाँ पे उनके साथ जो secured promise of life है वो भी की जाएगी. But keep in mind the social security that is needed through multiple dimension of identity, medical care, educational और जो occupational opportunities या shelters हैं, ये सारी चीजें गवर्नमेंट प्रोवाइड करेगी. This would be the priority area upon which government would be working for. Now, the ministry has allocated 365 crore rupees for this scheme, and the duration is till 2021 by 2026. Some brief details about the scheme. The sub-scheme, that is the center sector scheme, is a comprehensive rehabilitations for welfare of transgender person, including the following components. जहाँ पे scholarships की बात की गई है transgender students के लिए till the studying from 9th until the post graduations. Skill development and livelihood options, जहाँ पे exclusive course करवाई जाएगी ताकि वो अपने एक ऐसे skill को develop करे जो उनके livelihood के लिए भी secure हो. This would be under the part of PM Daksh scheme by the department. Now, composite medical health, a comprehensive healthcare packages दी जाएगी, which is integrated under PMJY, and this would support the gender reaffirmation surgery through the selected hospital. So, if it is being asked in mains paper specifically कि कौन कौन से ऐसे schemes हैं जो गवर्नमेंट ने ट्रांसजेंडर्स के लिए किए हैं, अब ये सारी चीज़ों को मेंशन कर सकते हैं. Now, housing for the गरिमा गृह एक शेल्टर होंगी जहाँ पे वैसे लोग जो अफोर्ड नहीं कर पाते हैं उनके लिए एक रहने की व्यवस्था की जाएगी. They would be provided home so that you can stay, especially the begging people. And the provisions for the transgender protection cell, setting up of transgender protection cell to monitor the offences and timely register the cases, और उसके executions या prosecutions जो हैं वो अपने हिसाब से उस particular case को आगे handle करेंगे in court of law. E-services, that is the national portal and law advertisement and the other welfare measures would be taken under the scheme. Now, the focus for the scheme is comprehensive rehabilitations of person engaged in begging. अभी तक तो हमने उसकी बात की थी ट्रांसजेंडर्स की. Now we'll be looking into the begging part. तो यहाँ पे सर्वे और आइडेंटिफिकेशन की जाएगी वैसे बेनिफिशियरीज की ताकि उनको एक्चुअल बेनिफिट्स मिले गवर्नमेंट के तरफ. Mobilization would be done to engage the people in begging and avail them a shelter, right? So they would be provided a shelter where they can live and they should leave the part of begging. Rescue shelter homes only that will facilitate education for children and the act of begging and children person for engaged in the begging. और comprehensive resettlement भी की जाएगी उन लोगों की ताकि वो जो act of begging है खत्म किया जा सके and they should be also getting a dignity in their life and they can sustain their life for a longer duration. Now, some important news that is contributing to a general studies paper 3. Voice of customers. This is like a scheme, or you can say an award, which was given by the Airport Authority of India, namely Chennai, Calcutta, Goa, and Pune, Patna, Bhubaneswar, and Chandigarh has participated in ACI ASQ Survey 2021, which has been chosen for the voice of customer recognition. ऐसे एयरपोर्ट जो एयरपोर्ट काउंसिल इंटरनेशनल है, उन्होंने किया कि कौन कौन से ऐसे एयरपोर्ट है जो वॉइस ऑफ कस्टमर्स को रिकॉग्नाइज करते हैं, जो कस्टमर की बातें हैं उससे इत्तेफाक रखते हैं, उसको एड्रेस करते हैं, उनकी ग्रीवांसेस को एड्रेस की जाती है. सो बैकग्राउंड की अगर बात करें, द एयरपोर्ट काउंसिल इंटरनेशनल हैज इनिशिएटेड द वॉइस ऑफ कस्टमर. ये एक इनिशिएटिव है टू एक्नॉलेज एंड रिकॉग्नाइज द एयरपोर्ट दैट हैज कंटिन्यू टू प्रायोरिटाइज द कस्टमर, बेसिकली जो कस्टमर की जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं उसको एड्रेस करने के लिए, कमिटेड टू इंश्योर देयर वॉइस वर हर्ड एंड ड्यूरिंग द ऑनगोइंग 19 पेंडेमिक एज वेल, राइट. So this is towards a customer friendly behavior, basically services which is customer friendly in nature. About the survey, airport service quality जो है ASQ surveys were world renowned international establishments से की गई, and the program measures the passenger satisfactions and through the airport, which is conducted by the Airport Council International, इसको ACI भी कहते हैं. The Airport Service Quality Program is a world-leading airport customer experiences measure a benching and the program. ASQ की बात करें, ASQ award recognize those airports around the world that deliver the best customer experiences in their own passengers. Now, ASQ program provide research and management formations under the better passengers what want for the airport from the product and services standpoint. Now, integrated management of wetland biodiversity and ecosystem services. So Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change ने अपने नेशनल प्लान फॉर कंजर्वेशन ऑफ एक्वेटिक सिस्टम के थ्रू कंजर्व करने की कोशिश की है, जहाँ पे सस्टेनेबिलिटी ऑफ वेटलैंड को प्रमोट किया जाए अक्रॉस द कंट्री. Now for this, the aim is to stem up the continued loss and degradation for promoting the center sector policy, जहाँ पे planning, decision making for environment related issues would be taken into consideration. जो global environment facilities है, which is funded under the integrated management of wetland biodiversity and ecosystem services would be projected, और यहाँ पे जो existence program policies frameworks हैं उनको implement किया जाएगा ताकि एक effective management हो nationally wetland की. वैसे wetland जो कि nationally और internationally important हैं उनको पूरी तरह से protect किया जाए और effective management भी promote की जाए. Also, it aims to address the social, economic, environment benefits to the wetland-wise issues के वजह से. Now, goals and objectives की अगर बात करें, conservation's wise use of wetland is sustained provisions and a full range of ecosystem services and maintain the biodiversity. Enhance management effectiveness for the wetland with the national and global significance, which is integrated as a part of development planning and its agenda. Now, energy efficiency methods for hydrogen productions. So scientists at International Advanced Research Center for Power Metallurgy and New Material developed किया एक नई मेथडोलॉजी को, जहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रोलाइसिस के प्रोसेस से हाइड्रोजन जो है वो अलग की जाएगी मेथनॉल वाटर से, और एक इलेक्ट्रोकेमिकल मेथनॉल रिफॉर्मेशंस होगी which would be used as an ambient pressures and temperature. So this is again something going to be a game changer. एंड ACRIs एंड ऑटोनोमस इंस्टीट्यूशंस डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी अंदर काम करती है. उसके जो मेन एडवांटेजेस होंगे इस प्रोसेस के इज दैट द इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी नीडेड टू प्रोड्यूस हाइड्रोजन इज 1/3 ऑफ द वाटर इलेक्ट्रोलाइसिस. प्रैक्टिकल वाटर है विच इज गिविंग यू अराउंड 55 to 65 किलोवाट ऑफ kg और हाइड्रोजन. ये टेक्नोलॉजी पेटेंट कराई है ACRI ने, दैट इज एडवांस रिसर्च सेंटर फॉर पावर मेटलर्जी एंड न्यू मटीरियल्स. क्या है ये प्रोसेस? जो ECMR प्रोसेस है, किस तरह से ये काम करेगी, एंड दिस प्रोसेस इज अगेन रेलेवेंट फॉर योर प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन एज वेल. सो दिस विल यूज अ पॉलीमर इलेक्ट्रोलाइट मेम्ब्रेन, जो पॉलीमर होगी उसको यूज करेगी. हाइड्रोजन कैन बी प्रोड्यूस्ड एट द लो टेम्परेचर विच इज अराउंड 25 to 60 डिग्री सेल्सियस एंड प्रेशर अनलाइक द केमिकल रिफॉर्मेशन. हाइड्रोजन सेपरेशन होगी फॉर प्यूरिफिकेशन स्टेप्स दैट आर रिक्वायर्ड सिंस द बिगिनिंग फ्रॉम CO2 to the polymer membrane used in the system. And thus hydrogen uses ACRI highly pure, which is 99.9%, and can be directly used in the PEM fuel to generate the power about 11 to 13 kilowatt. Importance of hydrogen की अगर बात करें, no, government of India has also been talking about its intention to moving towards hydrogen fuel. So this is something going to be the future fuel globally. So hydrogen is gaining much attention due to its high specific energy value, अगर आप एवरेज देखें तो 40 किलोवाट पर केजी है एज कम्पेयर टू द केमिकल फ्यूज विच इज लाइक गैसोलाइन, डीजल, पेट्रोलियम, जो सिर्फ 12 टू 14 किलोवाट पर केजी होते हैं. तो यू कैन यूजली अंडरस्टैंड द डिफरेंस बिटवीन दिस 12 to 40. The most abundant raw material that contain water is hydrogen, right? We can, if segregate the technology is going to be efficient और अगर ये cost effective हो तो इससे अच्छी कुछ चीज़ें हो नहीं सकती. It is also present at the natural gas, petroleum, biomass, and they can form the source of generation for the hydrogen. Some foreign policy related news that is again relevant for the month of February. The first is United Kingdom. India और United Kingdom के बीच क्या क्या चीज़ें हुई हैं. The fourth, India UK Home Affair dialogue was recently held in the virtual mode, and the dialogue covered the wide range of issues which include homeland security, cyber security, extradition cases, migrations, and India has impressed upon UK authorities the need to expedite the pending and extradition cases. ऑस्ट्रेलिया की अगर बात करें, इंडिया और ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने comprehensive economic cooperation साइन किया है, which is expected to conclude in 12 months. Very soon, the government would be coming up with a complete detailed strategy and policy. The two nations are expected to sign interim agreement by March 2022. तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो comprehensive economic partnership agreement के अंदर आएंगी उनको already start भी कर दिया जाएगा by this month end. And this will cover the area and of like goods, services, rule of origin, sanitary, phytosanitary measures, custom procedures, legal and institutional issues. And by the end of this year, government would be expanding it to the larger extent as well. Now, India and UAE, a major initiative for bilateral relationship of comprehensive economic partnership agreement was there. Negotiations की गई है that was launched in September 2021. It has been completed and the agreement would take India and UAE economic commercial agreement to the next level. UAE is India's third largest trading partner. चाहे वो bilateral trade हो, investment की बात हो, this is something expected to increase significantly, right? And India and UAE has signed a historic comprehensive economic partnership agreement that aims at boosting the merchandise trade between the two countries, which is valued around 100 billion US dollar in the next 5 years. Now, some short liner news that would be more relevant for the prelims examination as such. The first is Exercise Milan 2022. This is the latest edition of Indian Navy multilateral exercise. This is scheduled to commence from 25th of February and is also known as the City of Destination in Visakhapatnam. Milan is a biannual multi-trilateral naval exercises which is incepted by the Indian Navy in Andaman and Nicobar. इस बार की जो मिलन 22 है that has witnessed the largest ever participation by more than 40 countries, right? जहाँ पे warship high level delegations present थी. So this is something more relevant for your prelims, right? And the theme for Milan exercise is community, cohesion, collaboration, and aims to project India's responsible maritime power to the larger world. Now, ex-Cobra Warrior 2022. Indian Air Force will participate in the multinational exercise named as ex-Cobra, जो कि यूके में की गई थी by 6 to 27 of March 2022, and this would also continue. And the light combat aircraft Tejas will participate in the exercise with the fright aircraft of UK and other leading air forces. The exercise is aimed at providing the operational exposures, जहाँ पे बेस्ट शेयर्स जो हैं एयर फोर्सेस की वो यूटिलाइज की जाएगी और कोशिश ये की जाएगी दैट टू कम्बैट कैपेबिलिटी एंड द फॉरेन बॉन्ड ऑफ द फ्रेंडशिप शुड बी प्रमोटेड. एंड दिस विल बी अ प्लेटफॉर्म वेयर LCA जो तेजस है will demonstrate the maneuverability and operational capabilities of Indian Air Force. Now the last, that is Andaman and Nicobar Command has conducted a joint security exercises for Port Blair Airfield in February 2022, that is 16 February. And the aim of this drill was to prepare for all security agencies, contingencies, terrorist attack, hostages and hijack situation in the airfield and एयरवे से. तो एक प्रिपरेशनरी या एक प्रिकॉशनरी तरह की मेजर्स हैं जो कि अंडमान एंड निकोबार कमांड ने की है. So this was all about the compilation for the PIB month of February. We have a lot more other initiatives for you, that is daily news and editorial analysis where I cover the news from the Hindu and Indian Express, IAS GAZETTE magazines जो हमारे वेबसाइट से डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं, FCA, PIB, MPR, that is monthly policy review, gist of YOJNA and Kurukshetra. So this was all about for this video. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.